Oh, yeah, folks, here we go. It's the Doug Rice Show brought to you by Twitware. Twitware, look at it, just be. Oh, let it ride for just a minute, folks. Hold on. Yeah, that rocks right there. I like that. I do like that, if I do say so myself. Good morning, Doug Rice. Turn down the music. Don't make me say it twice. 8 a.m. It is the 30th of November, 2023. I do not know how I made it, but welcome to the show. Welcome to the live. My name is Doug Rice, trying to survive. How are you this morning? I hope you are well, because, folks, I've got a story to tell. Let me tell you. Yesterday went through the mechanism that is preparing for a show. And someone somewhere suggested that I take a look at Sigmund Freud, who wrote a book called Moses and Monotheism. So I quickly grabbed the book. I went and I got this book and snagged the book. And as I tend to do, I try not to read ahead too much to give the same sense of surprisement when we go through the book for our surmisement. And I put together the show before I had a chance to know whether or not the book would go. And I still think it goes. It is an interesting look into what happens. It had me shook. When a psychologist of Freud's, of his stature, decides to get into the Hebrew matter. No, the person said, effectively, if you want to know about where Ashkenazi Jews came from, or if you want to know about where Hebrews came from, check this book out, Sigmund Freud's, Moses and Monotheism. So I did. I checked it out. Let me show it to you real quick. It's an interesting book. It is. I'm thoroughly impressed. I had to search far and wide within this book's confines to get a very good piece of mechanized material so that it wouldn't be so ethereal. Otherwise, we would have gone into this book and read a bunch of lies. Let me tell you what I mean. He addresses that Moses originated from Egypt. So he discounts from the beginning of the book, he discounts that Moses was found in a reed basket, reed basket, set into the river by a Jewish Hebrew girl. That's what he said. He said that the Hebrew girl, and I had to read through the book. He said that the Hebrew would not have the intelligence needed to accomplish the transport of Moses into a river, down a Nile, and into the hands of the Pharaoh's daughter. Now, that just dismisses the entire book, but let me just say this to you. He does say something about the people that are today claiming to be Hebrew. Also, he says nothing in the entire book, which I had to literally go through quickly, that addresses the apparent color change from obvious dark-skinned humans to the obvious Ashkenazi, now Polish, Russian, Jewish, European converts that claim to be the descendants of those individuals who Moses hid amongst as an Egyptian. So he says nothing about that. But he has some pages in this book that I think are absolutely worth a look. And then we're going to take a look at some news. So while we're at that, be sure to visit our sponsor, Twitware. Twidwear.com, get 10% off all apparel using the promo code TDRS. That is the Doug Rice Show promo code. That's my promo code. Now, I'm going to go to the page I think I need to go to here. I think it's 166, if I'm not mistaken. If I think so, yeah. So this particular offering is why I believe this was a stumbled upon gem. All right, so like, subscribe, share. Let me move the "we'll be on at 8" out there. Good Lord, Doug, pay attention. All right, so this is the book. Moses and Monotheism by Sigmund Freud. Now, Sigmund Freud, as everyone knows, is a great world-renowned psychologist. Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud and these disciplined psychologists and psychoanalysts have made a lot of headway in the letting people know what might be ailing them. I think that one of my moderators, Detrina, has been just pounding the drum regarding Black men's mental health. And we'll be doing a strong segment on that in the near future. I want to make sure I hit that right on the head, that nail right on the head for the moderator, especially Detrina, who's been with me since the beginning. And it is important that we focus on Black men's mental health. But today, Sigmund Freud, he's focusing on white men's mental health. Let's just move along there first. But second, he's got in the chapters of this, I would say, just clearly offset, self-persecutory book. As you know, Sigmund Freud is a Jew. He literally is attacking his own people. And he's claiming that Moses was an Egyptian. So he may have been an Egyptologist more than a person involved in Judaism. Either way, he did a lot of coke. He did. Sigmund Freud just did a lot of coke and, wrote a lot of, some of the things he did was a little offset, but some of the things he did has made clear headway into helping people with mental health issues. I won't take away from his progress. Now, this thing, page 166, the people of Israel. Now, he's talking about himself here, folks. But let me see here if I can get this right size, make sure I can see this with my own eyes. It always does that. I don't know why. All right, so I'm sure everybody can see that, right? Ain't nobody blind up in there, right? Right? All right, there. Moses and Monotheism have been, again, this is by Sigmund Freud. Now, I, again, will lay the foundation. Sigmund Freud believes that Moses, and he names Moses by his Egyptian name, he really, with a bunch of platitudes, kinds of lays it out that the whole thing was just Moses being Moses, and, he created the Jews or the Hebrew people. But here we go. I want to read this. Nothing's wrong with my throat. I just need this. All right. The people of Israel, if we are quite clear in our minds that a procedure like the present one, to take from the traditional material what seems useful and to reject what is unsuitable, and then to put the individual pieces together according to their psychological probability, does not afford any security for finding the truth, then one is quite right to ask why such an attempt was undertaken. Now, go with me, folks, because he takes us there. In answer to this, I must cite the result. If we substantially reduce the severe demands usually made on an historical and psychological investigation, that it might be possible to clear up problems that have always seemed worthy of attention and which, in consequence of recent events, force themselves again on our observation. Now, let me frame this for you, Negro Nation. What he's talking about, recent events, is Sigmund Freud wrote this book in 3 parts. I advise you get this book, because to know the mind of the oppressors, to know the minds of the folks that assisted in the sale of the transatlantic slave trade, enriching themselves so and putting in place so many mechanisms to keep them in place, it's very important you understand what's behind their face. I recommend if you want to order one of my PDFs, you get this one. Let me tell you what. He released this in 3 parts, during of which the World War II fiasco was taking hold. Part 1 was extremely censored. I need you to understand this. Freud was from Germany. Part 1 was censored in what it had to say regarding Moses and monotheism. Part 2 was written during his transition and out of Germany, where he had less constraints on what he was able to say and express in his book. And let me tell you, he went to town. I had to read through the book to really get this down. Now, part 3 is when he was completely free of Germany, and then he wrote a summation that thoroughly, put together both parts, reinforcing what he believed, all, in my estimation, a kind of an attack on himself, a little self-deprecation. Just a little bit, because, again, he's Jewish. But this piece of material, the people of Israel, this is an interesting way that he kind of sums up what he has to say. We're just going to go through part 2 and part 3. And then after that, I'll go through news and we're out of here. But I think this is something Negroes can use. All right, so like, subscribe, share, do all the things that you see down there, for goodness sake. And if you like what you see, because I need it, let me tell you, use the other stuff you see down there, the URLs that provide money. And I ain't trying to be funny. I'm begging now. I like doing this. I think I can contribute to what Negroes might have been denied for so long. There are a lot of knowings out there that have been kept from us, and it's wrong. So if you like this effort, if you think it's worthy, please use what you see below and give just so. All right, here we go. All right, here we go, folks. Again, now here he kind of makes up a summation about the people of Israel. He's talking about the people of Israel. Now just go with me on this, all right? All right. All right, we were right here. We know that of all the peoples who lived in antiquity, in the basin of the Mediterranean, the Jewish people is perhaps the only one that still exists in name and probably also in nature. Oh, he's going to give them some. Let's just watch. With an unexampled power of resistance, it has defined misfortune and ill treatment, developed special character traits, and incidentally, earned the hearty dislike of all other peoples. That's honest. That's honest and objective, isn't it, Mr. Freud? Whence comes this resistance of the Jew? And how his character is connected with his fate are the things one would like to understand better. Oh, okay, well, let's get there. We may start from one character trait of the Jews which governs their relationship to other people. Hope everybody's sitting down. Let me take a sip of coffee. Hold on. There's no doubt that they have a very good opinion of themselves, think themselves nobler, on a higher level, superior to others from whom they are also separated by many of their customs. Well, with this, they are animated by a special trust in life, such as is bestowed by the secret possession of a precious gift. It is a kind of optimism. Religious people would call it trust in God. Uh-oh. I don't know if they like this too much. We know the reason of this attitude of theirs and what their precious treasure is. I'm going to tell you it's the lie that they've held on to for so long. That's what it is. But here's what he says about his folks. And I need you to understand the tongue-in-cheek on this. They really believe themselves to be God's chosen people. They hold themselves to be specially near to him. And this is what makes them proud and confident. This is Sigmund Freud. And let me just hold on, dog, hold on. You need to understand that this dude is psychoanalyzing his own people. And he breaks them down like a fraction. Now, we know they're delusional. We know that they're living an obvious lie. We know that they believe this, but I need you to understand that they truly believe this because that is the lie that makes them who they are. But what they believe is true about Negroes like me and you. You need to hear what they're saying. Why do you think they believe this so hard? Why do you think this? Think about what they're saying. I'm going to keep going back. Listen carefully, folks. This is carefully. We know the reason of this attitude of theirs and what their precious treasure is. They really believe themselves to be God's chosen people because there are a set of God's chosen people to believe in. They know this. This is why they believe this. They hold themselves to be specially near to him, and this is what makes them proud and confident. According to trustworthy accounts, they behave in Hellenistic times as they do today. The Jewish character, therefore, even then was what is now, and the Greeks, among whom and alongside whom they lived, reacted to the Jewish qualities in the same way as their hosts do today. They reacted, so one might think, as if they too believed in the preference which the Israelites claimed for themselves. This is Freud defragmenting a lie while exposing the existence of a truth. But to whom does it apply? Oh, we'll see. Don't let your head hit the roof. Here we go. So this is very interesting. When one is the declared favorite of the dreaded father, one need not be surprised that the other brothers and sisters are jealous. Whose story is he telling, folks? Let him tell us. What this jealousy can lead to is exquisitely shown in the Jewish legend of Joseph and his brethren. That's our story. Now, I need you to know the shifting tides and how history has unfolded in his eyes. It's still a mystery. He believes their lies. But let's read, continue. The subsequent course of world history seemed to justify this Jewish arrogance. For when later on God consented to send mankind a Messiah and Redeemer, he again chose him from among the Jewish people, from among Negroes. As we decompose and deconstruct Mr. Freud's intellect, let me tell you something, he's got a little bit to protect as well. He knows he's a Jew. The other peoples would then have had reason to say, indeed, they were right. They are God's chosen people. They'll be saying that soon. Instead of which it happened that the salvation through Jesus Christ brought on the Jews nothing but a stronger hatred. Yes, the Jews that slowly replaced Negroes as Jews and eliminating Hebrews from the entire equation of dialect. Hebrews is not even a thought now. It's an antiquated thought. They know the Hebrews are Negroes trapped in America, but you see what they brought. Interesting. So instead of which it happened that the salvation through Jesus Christ brought on the Jews nothing but a stronger hatred, while the Jews themselves derived no advantage from this second proof of being favored, because they did not recognize the Redeemer. Now, let me pause this. We know what caused this. We know that the rejection by these particular Jews, these adherents, were just the trickling on and beginnings of converts, or those that were doing a disservice to Judaism by bringing in practices that Yeshua called them vipers and workers of lawlessness, and claiming the empty things, the repetitive nature of their prayers was doing them no good. All of the things that he accused these Sadducees, Pharisees of being, that is what inevitably became the Jewish, if you will, state in name only, as Hebrews recessed into the past. So let's continue, because I want to know how long this lasts. On the strength of our previous remarks, we may say that it was the man Moses who stamped the Jewish people with this trait, one which became so significant to them for all time. No, I think that was the Ashkenazi European convert that did this. He enhanced their self-confidence by assuring them that they were the chosen people of God, as Negroes are. The story told through Ukrainian mouths, through folks that live about, Israel, those folks aren't real. It's an interesting how he kind of blends in our story and pretends that their story is our story, but he doesn't say anything about turning from dark-skinned to light-skinned people. I'm just wanting to keep that real, that's all. All right, let's go. Then just as now each nation thought itself superior to all the others. The self-confidence of the Jews, however, became, through Moses, anchored in religion. It became a part of their religious belief. By the particular close relationship to their God, they acquired a part of his grandeur. And this is an absolute truism. Let me say this as well. What we're finding, what we're seeing Freud doing unknowingly, knowingly, I don't know, doesn't matter. He is mixing truth with lie. He is mixing and trying to apply those that claim to be you and I. This is an absolute truth. By the belief Moses put to Hebrews, to Negroes, we were considered a royal class of people, 1100s, 1200s, before that, a royal class of individuals. I've read to you the accounts of which during the Spanish time, when we were Moors, and in the European time, me, mine, you, and yours, having a Negro in your home was a noble thing to be known. This is true. This is the reason I use the word Negro so much, too. I mean, this is an absolute. So what they've done is tried to pass the torch from us to them. They've been successful in doing so. And Freud has now deconstructed their mental, but the application is the same. So he's still as mixed up. If he applied everything to Negroes, this would make a little more sense to him. That's my point. Shall we move? All right, I apologize. I'm just taking up air. All right. By the particular close relationship with the, okay. And since we know that since we know, let me see that here. Whoa, we just went too far. Bing, 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 bing. Hold on, folks. Bing, bing. And since we know that behind, had to do that, God who chose the Jews and delivered them from Egypt stood the man Moses who achieved that deed. Ostensibly at God's command, we venture to say this. It was one man, the man Moses, who created the Jews. To him, this people owes its tenacity in supporting life. To him, however, also much of the hostility which it has met and is meeting still. So I want to make sure we were in the right place. So Freud attributes Jewishness to Moses. I attribute the claimed Jewishness to their interpretation and application to Moses to them as converts. Because he cannot attribute Moses to the Jewish people he speaks of without addressing how, for God's sake, they went from dark-skinned Egyptians to white-skinned Europeans. But I just wanted to see what the man was seeing. So I don't know that we need to go through chapter 3, but it might be interesting for Negroes to see. Let me do it anyway, because it's what I planned. And maybe we'll even greater understand. I don't know. I'm just going through this. The great man, how is it possible that one single man can develop such extraordinary effectiveness that he can create out of indifferent individuals and families one people, can stamp this people with its infinite or definite character and determine its fate for millennia to come because he was a Negro? That's how it happened, because he was touched by the God of Abraham. You know, Abraham, well, we're talking about Hebrews and Ishmaelites and all of these, they're talking about Jews. So, I mean, I'm just keeping up with the news. Who knows? Is not such an assumption a retrogression to the manner of thinking that produced creation myths and hero worship to times in which historical writings exhausted itself in narrating the deaths and life histories of certain individuals, sovereigns or conquerors? The inclination of modern times tends rather to trace back the events of human history to more hidden, general, and impersonal factors. The forcible influence of economic circumstances, changes in food supply, progress in the use of materials and tools, migrations caused by increase in population and change of climate. In these factors, individuals play no other part than that of exponents or representatives of mass tendencies which must come to expression and which found that expression, as it were, by chance in such persons. So, look at that. Now, I need you to understand this. Now, let me break this down. Freud is a Jew given something by birth, through circumstance, and through being a descendant of an Ashkenazi European, that being a convert. Freud, a Jew, as opposed to leaning into the proudness that he speaks of, instead looks upon it with criticism and I would say he does not like his religion that much, because at every chance he diffuses it, and I mean, he used a lot of coke, right? But bottom line is, it's an interesting take that so many who know the truth that their personage is but a lie. It is a convert story. It historically can be traced back to the Khazars, Ukraine, Russia, Poland. You know what I'm saying? And instead, he turns against that privileged position. And instead, he gives his own people admonition. That is an interesting take on this man. And it's one that I simply cannot understand. But it is one that I decided to look into, and I hope that you understand why they call themselves Jew. Oh, that was good. All right, that was good. I'm going to leave that there. I think that's fair. Freud was an interesting man, to say the least. Now, we do have some interesting stuff coming up here. The weather is getting rough here. I don't know if you guys are aware. Let me give you the latest. Let me see here. This is 3 hours ago in Buffalo. And thank you so much for tuning into the show. My name is Doug Rice. Doug Rice, so nice. You said it twice. I am brought to you by Twidware. Look at that. Let me tell you something. It's freezing in this studio. It's cold. No, they haven't turned off the electricity and the heat yet, but that's close. I got to literally just keep it cool in here because this stuff is just so darn warm. I mean, it is really, really good, and it fits tight on my form. Twidware, look down below and do what I tell you, because I'm in charge of the show. Go ahead and go to twidware.com, use the promo code TDRS, get 10% on any purchase. Hey, I would love to hear of a large purchase so that we can get, going, more in charge. All right, anyway, this is going to be interesting, folks. Let me go ahead and share the screen. Boom, 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 and the audio. All right, so this is right now. It says USA. It says New York, Buffalo are in chaos. A terrible snowstorm, buried cars. You know, I love bringing the weather for you. So I really want to see this, and then we're going to bring some news, and we'll be back.
Watch out!
It's on there.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Not now. This story is from 11 months ago. Winter is on its way, bringing with it the emergence of severe weather phenomena. No one can be certain how the winter of 2023 will unfold, but history has shown us the harshness of winter through the natural disaster event, a fearsome blizzard.
So I'm not certain I heard it say not now, but however, this says 10 hours ago, okay?
More than 40 inches of snow blanketed the Northeast as the Arctic blast swept across the country. The National Weather Service said early Wednesday that the hardest hit areas will be south and southeast of Lake Erie, before the snow shifts north. Significant winter weather has hit communities across the hinterland Northeast this morning, causing at least one fatal road accident.
It's nothing that we can do. No. Oh my Lord. It's nothing we can do, man.
As predicted, more than 40 inches of snow fell over the past 2 days across parts of the Great Lakes and inland Northeast in the first significant lake effect snow of the season. The heaviest snowfall was recorded in Constableville, New York, where 42.7 inches of snow fell. All lake effect snow warnings expired at 7 a.m. Wednesday. By the afternoon, snow fell on the Great Lakes, with some wind or light snow showers flowing across the lakes in northwestern Pennsylvania and western New York. Heavy snow is not expected for the rest of Wednesday, but an inch or two of snow is still possible.
So that was looks like it says 11 hours ago. This one says it is 10 hours ago. New York snowstorm causes New York to disappear, folks. Tell me if you think this is normal. I mean, I can't imagine you think or anyone with half a brain thinks that this is normal. Now, what I want to do here is I want to take you to another video, and this this from my history, and this gentleman, Full Spectrum Survival is this guy's name. He is amazing. He's going to give you an update that I think you should all hear. And please listen. He's pretty thorough. A little bit paranoid. He sells the fear, but he seems very sincere. So listen.
All right, guys, we've got some breaking news coming in off of the news desk in Venezuela. Now, there still needs to be some research done on this, but they say that between Venezuela and Brazil, a war is starting. A launch of an invasion by the Venezuelan army at the Guyana region. The Brazilian army is said to have launched a counter-offensive. The U.S. Army, according to these reports, is deploying their own forces to assist the Brazilian army in countering this. Whether this happens or not, if it goes all the way to a full-blown war, we are going to see the United States military torn in yet another direction, one that leaves us less capable of defending our homeland here on U.S. soil. Now, in China, you guys already know that there's a big problem taking place. It's either an epidemic or a pandemic or something going on there. The Chinese officials are officially labeling it as an epidemic of treatment-resistant bacterial pneumonia. Now, if this is true, and we're already starting to see an uptick in pneumonia cases in children in the United States of America and over in the UK, we have to look at a bit of a bigger picture here. Is there something more at play? And most of all, we have to take care of ourselves. Now, I do see these pneumonia cases increasing in the U.S. A lot of people are having to get on azithromycin. A lot of people are having to get on some other antibacterials or take their own natural medications that help them. The biggest thing is going to be keeping yourself and your lungs free of this bacteria that is resistant to treatment. That means you're going to have to do some cupping. You know, that's where you cup your chest and get up that bacteria, get out that mucus. You're going to have to also maybe take some, things that help with antioxidants, maybe vitamin C. Just keep a check on yourself if you're not looking to go the medication route. But Chinese officials are, according.
Okay, folks, he gives off that Rasputin vibe, doesn't he? You throw a black cloak on this dude and a candle in his hand, have him walk and chant, and I'm running the other way. I'm just saying, a little urgency. The eyes a little too, I don't know. I'm just saying, just listen, just listen.
To these reports downplaying a mysterious pneumonia outbreak that is raging all across the country. Insiders say that Beijing has ordered medics not to reveal the causes of illness. They have ordered officials to avoid using any terms that give a positive result. The new wave of pneumonia, they warn, has unusual symptoms. It is sweeping all across China, and it's making its way to America and other countries. They say that these symptoms are bacterial disease. They say that a lot of people are having a high fever, a constant cough, and even if they go on treatment, they're not able to bring it down. It comes back afterwards. Fears of a possible new pandemic are growing. These insiders say that China's top leadership has claimed that the country's officials have given a secret directive. And in this directive, they have purposefully told leadership to not do anything, not let it known to the public, and to officially downplay the outbreak. Authorities have been ordered to refer to this as mycoplasma pneumonia or influenza. They have said, according to this quote, major foreign media outlets stationed in Beijing have received the order, which makes it clear that no interviews are going to be allowed on the so-called mycoplasma pneumonia infections. Domestic media has been prohibited from making any comprehensive reports on this outbreak, and they are told to pretend that it isn't happening. The insider reported that hospitals and makeshift clinics are being overwhelmed. They're unable to cope with the rising number of patients. Affiliated hospitals in the Hebei University's makeshift clinic are being put into use. Children are receiving IV drip antibacterial and antiviral treatments. Most cases, they say, show the concern of Beijing with hazmat workers disinfecting the buildings and the different areas in the region. Despite the surge, especially in children, clinics are insisting that the outbreak is being caused not by anything novel. Novel meaning new or unknown so far. So here we have this outbreak happening in China. Now, I know that there's sickness going across the USA because Kelly and I have a forward public position, facing position that with our work that we do. And we're just getting report after report from people of, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick. My wife's sick, my kids are sick. We got sick again. We were sick, we're sick again. Something is going on out there. Maybe it's something bigger, like, they said that the disease that was out here a couple of years ago basically gave people, an airborne version of, something really, really bad that took away your T cells or your body's ability to remember how its immunity to diseases.
All jokes aside, this guy, very, very sincere, very urgent, consistent in his content. Literally several times a day, but minimum one time a day. I subscribe to this guy, Full Spectrum Survival. Look it up on YouTube. Subscribe to the guy's channel and hit his notification bell because, his notification bell works real well. Let's continue. He's got a lot to say.
Now, if that is the case, that would explain why children and adults were getting RSV bad again, something that hasn't been seen in decades. It would explain why pneumonia is so bad. It would explain why everybody's getting influenza A, then influenza B, catching all this garbage. So my message to you guys is just stay safe, be aware of it, take your not your antibiotics, take your antioxidants, drink good, eat good. Now remember, back during the 1918 flu, and my great aunt and grandmother lived through these times. What did they do? Well, today we call it a hot toddy, and it's basically a shot of liquor that they have with lemon or honey, something like that. And what that does is that brings down the immune system's response. This is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor, but I'm telling you what my grandparents did and what my aunt and uncle did, and what a lot of people did during that time.
I do need it. I wanted to just play it up to there because when I did watch this ahead, and he said that with a lot of urgency. He wanted to caveat that and make it understood that this is not medical advice. I am not a doctor. Please don't listen to me. Great guy. I do like what he does. I dig his stuff. And now just let me see what is in the news for you folks to peruse with me. I did find a few things that are shocking me. You tell me. What is this with Trump? What is this? I just cannot miss this one, folks. Somebody explain this, please. So Trump, who railed against Black Lives Matter for years, now says he's very honored to have his support. What happened? What's going on here? Because I don't look at it. Look at it. He wants to be bad so bad. He wants to be, boy, I tell you. What is this here? What did they do? Did they, what was it? Donald Trump said on Wednesday he was very honored to receive support from Black Lives Matter. Somebody was defending Black Lives Matter. I remember a few days ago. I just can't remember who it was. His remarks stand in contrast to his past scathing criticism of the movement, the bowel movement, that is BLM, bowel movement, Black Lives Matter. But there are subgroups, there are organizations and movements. He talks about the movement. I'm sure I'll have a conversation later. Trump was reacting to an endorsement by an activist said to be a co-founder of the Black Lives Matter. I just got a question, folks, if you don't mind. I'm trying to find the answer, and I can't find. Why do Black people support Donald Trump? This seems to be, a needed answer. No, you think I'm exaggerating? You think I'm exaggerating Black people, digging Donald? Well, let me ask you a question. What does this say? What's going on? What's this brother on? Somebody answer the question. I mean, what is it? Look, I love the man. That's what he said. I love the man. Former Black Lives leader said he's voting for Donald Trump in 2024, and black people have been mental slaves to Democrats. Black people have been mental slaves, period. Democrats, Republicans, independents, it doesn't matter. You push each and every one of them hard enough in the direction they care not to go, and let me tell you something else, let you know who they are. Former senior director, I can make that a little bit bigger, can I? No, I'll do that again. Darn it. Here we go. Bing, bing, yeah. Former senior director for one Black Lives Matter branch. Stop. That's not an endorsement by Black Lives Matter, but okay, whatever. Is proudly voicing his support to make Donald Trump president again in 2024. Okay. Mark Fisher, who was introduced as the co-founder of Black Lives Matter Rhode Island. What are you doing in Rhode Island, bud? Yeah. Is in an interview on Fox News explained why Donald Trump will get his vote in 2024. Oh, we'll get it. Yes. Presidential election, as well as why he and other black voters are steering away from the Democratic Party in the upcoming. And take it all in, folks. There he is. He says the duplicity of the Dems, the hypocrisy of the Republicans. What are you talking about? The Republicans are leading the charge for white supremacy to come back and large. What is this guy on? What does he think is going to happen when we're gone? What does he think? What does he think? Wow. You know, go on a camping trip with one of them. Go out in the woods and tell me if that does your black ass any good. All right, so Trump wouldn't give this dude the time of day. Trump would not give this black man the time of day. Somebody call him, somebody tell him, please hear what I say. That man does not like you, sir. Donald Trump does not like you. Tell you what's interesting. Check this out. Check out this. I thought this was interesting, without a doubt. This was most interesting. Let me close this. Thank you. Here we go. Check this out, folks. 11-year-old black girl with high IQ, with IQ higher than Einstein, earns her master's degree. 11-year-old black girl, huh? I don't know. Is that a black girl? I don't know if that's I don't know. Is that black? A black girl to you? We taking this one here? I don't know. Wait, Adara Perez Sanchez, a 12-year-old brown-skinned girl from Mexico City, is the girl that's just smarter than. Give credit where credit is due. Don't do that. That's not cool. That's not even necessary. That's that, and is a Hispanic woman that is a Spaniard descent. That is a European dark-skinned child. She is a person of color, but she's not a Negro. Please don't call her a black girl. You know what a black girl looks like, don't you? Come on, man. Give, yay. It's all right. She's smart. Dude, that's his son. That's something else, huh? I didn't take a look at her. I thought it was going to be actual, Negro. But, let's see. What is it? So, I thought this was put to bed, this one. I thought this one was a done deal, but somebody is bringing it up and it's in the news. I look up black news. That's what I peruse, and look at this. 5 things that suggest OJ killed his wife, Ron and Goldman. 5 things that suggest. I'm going to give you 5 things that suggest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He did it. What? How is this news? I don't understand it. 5 things that suggest OJ killed his wife, his ex-wife, and Ron Goldman. What are those 5 things? 25 years ago, you're throwing shade. What? He got acquitted? He did a little time? He got played? What? Tried to buy his own stuff back and brought a gun. Then did the stupid thing, tried to run. That was really stupid. So, I don't know. He said that he killed, 5 days later, caught the court's attention by, remember the car chase? Who was alive? Some of you are not even 25. I don't know. What did he do? And look at this. Close this, please. Thank you. Man, they're bringing back memories. So the DNA, that's in it. The infamous car chase, guilty. Change of alibi, okay. Motive, Absolutely. I did it. Okay. The I did it book. That's number 5. And yet OJ is still alive. What? So here's what happened. This dude, we know. Here's my take on this. You must know. I had a wonderful opportunity to watch the whole show. I watched it from start to finish, every inch of the trial. Let me tell you, it did. I did. He was working on a movie. It was Navy SEALs. Most people don't understand this. 25 years ago, I have the details. And the Navy SEALs specialist, he was a guy that he gave advice. So he was a consultant. And everybody was killed with a knife. And if anybody doesn't know how he killed his wife, he used a knife. So why didn't they at least look into the consultant on the show he was doing? Also, his son was somewhere on the run, might have covered for him. Either way, it got done. He was acquitted. And as far as I'm concerned, if they find a white man innocent, they call him innocent. They don't return 25 years later. Well, sometimes they do, but this is OJ. He looks like me and you. Stop that. Enough. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I'm not done. I'm gonna just go like the Energizer Bunny. I'm just gonna keep going until I ain't funny. Stop now. All right. Now let me give you juxtaposed to what we just saw. Okay, so I don't want it to catch in your craw. All right. So they talked about a black girl that was a smart child. Let me tell you, that is a black person, a black child. That is a Negro, if you will. High school senior makes history with a 5.6 GPA, becomes first black valedictorian at his school. Here's another one that's the first black something. He's the first black valedictorian. That is an honor. That's pretty cool. As of now, it is a 5.6045. I think by graduation, I'll go a little higher. But that's my number. And his name is Abdullah Khan. Well, I do wonder. So, doesn't he look like a Negro? He might not be. He could be a Hamite. See, I'm just saying. But they give credit where credit is due. Once again, that's a black dude. All right. So, what do I got next? I did pick a few pieces of interesting stories. There's a shortage of black doctors. I think that is a story. We were talking about that. The medical field seems to be a field of interest to the community of Negroes far and wide. And this story, in fact, caught my eye. The history behind America's devastating shortage of black doctors. Here we have 1979, May 3rd, a series of students, College of Medicine at historically black Howard University. I mean, you keep threatening to bomb the places, so, attendance goes down. What do you want? Stop sending mail all the way around. I like how this starts. I don't know if you guys are looking at this here. God, 110%. A paucity of black physicians is shortening the lives of African Americans. A paucity. Why didn't you just say a shortage? Why didn't you just say a pause and doctors graduate? But I understand. A paucity of black physicians is shortening the lives of African Americans. And politicians are starting to take note. Senator Roger Marshall in Kansas, Bernie Sanders in Vermont have proposed the bipartisan Primary Care and Health Workforce Act to address the broader shortage of primary care physicians. The bill allocates funding to medical schools for increasing the number of primary care physicians, requires 20% of its funding to go to minority-serving institutions, including historically black medical schools. This provision aims to increase the number of black primary care physicians. And what a wonderful position that they take. It now will be the death knell or the touchstone for others to quake. They can't stand when Negroes get something that Negroes get. That's really the understanding they get. I mean, seriously, it's if we get something, there'll be an opposition to that getting. If you don't believe me, check out Philadelphia when they determined that business black businesses would get special financing. And would you believe that Hispanic businessmen sued Philadelphia to stop that from happening? Check my math. And yet some of you associate those same individuals with Hebrews and Negroes. It makes me laugh. All right, yeah, I did it. What do you want me to say? I'm in it. Welcome again to the Doug Rice Show. I'm going to keep going until I cannot go, and I'm going to keep going because, well, I know I'm going. This is the show. And bringing up Philly, look at this. It never stops. Interesting. Look at this, folks. This just kind of dropped. Philly coffee shop owners welcome return of Shop Black Business Day. Uh-oh. Hispanics on the way. I'm just joking. You know I'm smoking. Shop Black Business Friday. So what that tells me is there a problem? Is nobody shopping black businesses? Is there a special need that black businesses need to call out to be shopped at because those businesses are black? Everything that's said is said in reverse. I mean that. I'm not trying to be terse. If they express it, that means the problem is intertwined in how they're trying to solve them. You see the headline. It says that Philly coffee shop owners welcome return of Shop Black Business Friday. Please, black businesses need your desperate help. Interesting. And so do we. Footwear. We need it as well. So Philadelphia City Council is set to hear a resolution declaring each Friday in December Shop Black Business Friday. Somebody's going to protest. Stand by. Somebody is going to protest as soon as it catches their eye. Council member Catherine Gilmore Richardson plans to reintroduce the resolution Thursday to give businesses more support. The resolution, which passed each year since 2020, aims to encourage shoppers to support black-owned businesses in the city. You know, we just keep poking them. Keep poking them. Once Donald Trump gets back in office, and I'm sure he'll go, all the support he got from black people, well, then they're going to know that that support was for nothing. Absolutely. He is going to get the Civil War 2.0 going. Yet, let me tell you, just so you know, Donald Trump is ready to start the show. Oh, yeah. What is this about? I did not know. This caught me by surprise. Let me show you what caught my eyes. Black immigrants on how the racial reckoning of 2020 shifted their perspective on black identity. Interesting, really. This is dated today, folks. Today, right? Today's not yesterday. Sorry, I'm a day late, dollar short. But black immigrants on how the racial reckoning of 2020 shifted their perspective on black identity. What a beautiful sister. What a proud-looking sister. Let's see what she's talking about. Black immigrants on the racial reckoning of 2020. She looks like a Negro. Though America was built on the forced labor of millions of people who were ripped from their homes and brought to the foreign land, to the then foreign land, to the now foreign land, to the now foreign land, becoming more and more foreign as things come in hand. To make it something great, the immigrant experience is a challenging one in the United States, particularly to immigrants of color. My parents moved stateside from Kenya. In the 1980s, they were not welcome. They both had to fight for every opportunity they acquired. But yes, they were welcome. Stop it. They were welcome because they came. They were absolutely welcome because the opportunity was open for them to come. And you know what? I'm going to say this before we get into this. They knew before they came here there would be obstacles. Are you complaining? Are you complaining because you're still here? See what I mean? You're remaining. You didn't flee the scene. You're still obtaining. It's Negroes that did not come here by choice. And that seems to be the unheard voice. I understand it was hard. I dig it. Okay, I'll go a little farther. I'm trying to be nice. America's hostility toward those not from the country who dare to build a life for themselves in the United States is just as palpable today as it was generations ago. However, the Black immigrant experience has become more nuanced since the racial reckoning that erupted following the murder of George Floyd. Blavity spoke to 3 Black immigrants about their experience and relationships with their Black identity to unpack that shift. Well, poor you. Do you need a lift? Prior to coming to America, the only experience of Blackness I had was what was portrayed by Hollywood. That means you were all messed up in the head. And it's far-fetched from the true nature of being Black in America. Experiencing it firsthand made me garner a newfound respect for the struggles and triumphs of Black yada, 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 what? So let me tell you, so you saw an opportunity to come to America. You did all that was required to come here, filled out the paperwork, background check, blood, hair, fecal samples, urine samples. Dear God, they went up your ass with a fine-tooth comb so that you could come here and freely roam. And you're telling me how the hardships now associate you with those you probably don't associate with. It's interesting, but you're still here. I'd rather tell the story about how Negroes got here. I'd rather tell our story, quite frankly. But I think I'm going to land there. I do appreciate, before I get upset, I won't do that, not yet. I do appreciate your time and listening to what became my rhyme. My name is Doug Rice, and I try to do it. I tried to take you Negroes through it. I'm about to leave. You guys, I'm certain, perceive it's 9:10 in the morning. You'll see me later on today. The day's still dawning. It's the 30th of November. And just you remember, as you go out and you wander in those public places, do me a favor, get those goddamn grin off your faces, because that's what I do. Twitware! All right, folks, you guys have a good day. This is the Doug Rice Show. I'll try to come your way later. Who knows? Bye-bye.